Hello and welcome to the Tarkus Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're playing Meet Your Maker and I've got another Outpost going into the Master Series. It just got mastered. It is the Outpost I've got here highlighted. It's called Prattsville, aka the King of the Hill. This is the map that was doing so much damage to people. It's the King of the Hill concept. I've done a few videos on it. The content, the last hour. So this is basically in the last hour, it got 137 kills in it in the last hour of it being up before it was like done. So let's look at the stats. So we're looking at here. I'm going to go down to defenses. It's clear what I got for the Genmat and the Raiders got. So the raid attempts ended up being 119 attempts, which is not too bad for a 10-day base, right? Outpost. The Raiders killed was 1,501. And then the kill ratio ended up being a 12.6, a little higher than I would like it to be. Again, I like to go around at 12, the base is considered salty. It means it's a pain in the butt for people. It's a very brutal, salty base, and we're obviously going to go in and look at the details of that base before we put it in social. So going down to the accolades, it got 36 fun, 53 brutal, 29 ingenious, and 11 artistic. Now, I thought it was more artistic than ingenious, to be honest with you. I thought I'd get more credit for artistic, but let's take a look at it. We'll go on in, and then I will explain to you what I did to build it, what I was thinking when I built it. Well, I mean, if you've been following my channel, I was thinking the King of the Hill mountain, the snowpack mountain when I was a kid. All the kids would try to get to the top and be the last one at the top of the hill before recess ended, and then you'd be all exhausted. I mean, it was a brutal game. I don't even think they play it anymore because of not wanting to hurt kids, I guess. But I mean, almost like dodgeball. It was worse than dodgeball because there was these 15, 16-foot snowbanks in the parking lot of our school. And we'd find the biggest, tallest snowbank, and we would just fight to the top, throwing people off the top, winging snowballs at them, the whole bit. It was hell, but it was fun when I was a kid. So just my signature trap coming in. I always do this, and as you can see, it gets kills. There's gravestones here. I bet if we looked at the historical gravestones, we would see, is this historical or is that one? No, that second one was historical. So this is the historical ones. Well, how did I kill? Oh, it must have been the hornets. I've got 2 hornets out here zipping around. Those are supposed to be just for target practice to get you warmed up, get your blood flowing. But it looks like these are the victims. If I, hornet, yeah. These guys, all these deaths, and then these deaths are hornet, enforcer. How did the because the and this is the impaler right here. So I did get some people in that impaler trap, and that's the enforcer that flops down. I forgot I had put him up here. He flops down with Dead Man's Switch, and that obviously got a few people because I just looked at those enforcer. So those were all victims to the enforcer. Okay, coming into this place, this was just a hopefully I'd get somebody in this where they shot their bullet, they zinged up there and messed up and would fall into the cube, but I don't think I got one victim to it. It's really an amateur trap, really amateur hour trap, because you're just walking in and it's right there. You shoot, and if you zing up there, grab your ammo, jump down, you'll be fine. But if you mess that process up, you end up at the bottom of that, which didn't really get many people. These are going to be mostly incinerators, incinerator. Incinerator. Yeah, these are going to be the incinerator at the top. Because I put a bomb ejector in there, but I think every single time they saw it, I don't think it killed one person. But there's an incinerator up there, and then there's an incinerator at the top of this hallway that zings down here. So it reaches all the way down here. And then when you get up here, I have a piston on the floor. I have another incinerator at their backside as they peek over the top. I bet you most of these are going to be, that's Hornet, Incinerator, Cannonback. So the gem about this is I created this narrow hallway, and I gave the option of 2 places to go. You go to the top, the high ground here, where there's only this trap here, and then there's another trap here. and there's no corresponding traps coming after you. So you only have to deal with 2 traps. Or actually, well, this one at the very top of the hallway you'd be taken out. But once you get up here, you got 1 trap, 2 traps, and you're pretty much in the room. But how I did it with the crossfire, with the cannonbacks and the enforcers and the hornets, once you come here thinking you're going to take the shortcut, they just zap you. They just get you. The crossfire is crazy, especially with the plasma sentinels that are in the room. So what happens is they retreat, and then they go down this path where they got to deal with a piston trap, a piston trap, a piston trap, and then they got this inferno trap there and a impaler there, and then another inferno or incinerator, and then another trap back here. So this whole corner is pretty much death. And then I've got the sentinel. I got a sentinel there. I mean, I think that one's easy. I don't think that ever killed anybody. I think that was just to take the ammo from them. I got one at the top there, at the top of the hallway there. All right, so once you get out of this hallway, if you get that far, you end up coming into the room. And I put these traps here, and I put these traps here on the ground in case they wanted to zing up there and they drop down. I also put the incinerator, one there and one on the opposite side. That is very effective. This combo is very effective. Now, I could have been a total tool bag and made this opaque and made this one opaque over here, but I didn't. I allowed them to see it. I allowed them to shoot through the cube to shoot those because it would just be too OP if you couldn't see those. Because if you had to peek out every time, then you're just going to get hit by that one. And if you're peeking over this one, you're going to hit by that one. So I did not opaque them. I think that's the word I'm looking for, opaque. And so that you can see through them so that you can shoot. You know, as a builder, you got to give them somewhat of a chance. You know what I mean? You can't make it too difficult for them. And then I just put some pit traps in. I don't think these pit traps ever got anybody. They're just there to kind of funnel people. Look at these pit traps down there. I mean, I did get one person in here. Look at that. Corrosive Cube killed this guy. He's the only one that's ever made it into the pit. Good for him. So that pit was a victim. Pit got one person. Then you come up to this landing, and I have the incinerators there, and not one on that side. That's where the cannon back is. And by the time they get up here, that cannon back's going to be dead. So, you know, they're going to be taking care of that cannon back before that trap kills that cannon back. You know, it's just... And then you see I got one above it. Now, that one is in case they want to zing up into that room with the grapple. This covers, so basically this entire area walking into this room is covered by those 2 traps. So it's an elevate, you know, it catches both elevations of... And then on the floor here, I've got just some impalers. I got an inferno in case they zinged up. Now, they're also up there, you'll notice on the ceiling, on an angle, I got bolt shot traps on double shot. And those would get you while you're here. So while you're standing in this area, those 2 bolt shot traps will go off, and they're on double shots. So you're basically having to step back, step back, step back. And it's in getting you to step back, you know, having to step back all the time is when I get you with the cannon backs, when I get you with the That's why all these people are dead in this area. This is my classic teacup death box. And if you watched my teacup video, you know what I'm talking about. I've got them in lower ground. They're in a death hole, and I'm just raining from the tops down at them. And I'm trying to keep them here. By everything that I'm doing in front of them is trying to keep them in this hole, making them go back every time. And then obviously I've got some good deaths down here on the main floor. And then as you go into this room, this is the main room. And back here I've got cannon back and an enforcer up here that if you go up the hill, if you try speed running it straight up the hill, those guys will shoot you in the back. That's why those guys are there, kind of like an anti-speed run mobs. Because if you go running up this hill and you're standing right here, then those mobs can see you. The hornets can see you. They can see you. Now, I put in an incinerator here and a piston in here. This could have been wasted capacity. It looks like I got one person with it. No, that's even a hornet. So I didn't even get one person with this gag. It might have slowed them down enough where they died here, though, because they peeked over and said, oh no, and then they peeked down and they died here. That could be part of these deaths here. I put it in another incinerator, inferno trap, a piston up here. I mean, it's basically a double kill box, fun, King of the Hill, really craziness, good time, right? I mean, there were people that did it in no deaths. My average, I think, well, obviously we know what the average was because I read the kill ratio on it. But I think a duo pair were doing it in like 4 deaths total. If you combine the two, duo pairs can just, if they got the two guns, the guns running, you can run this content real quick with the guns, especially on a duo pair. And if we go back outside, you'll see that I mapped off all the tombs for them. So I made a yellow brick road to all the tombs that were available on this map. So even if you didn't do the map at all, there's quite a bit of rewards there for just entering the map. And I will say that the kill ratio probably would have been larger if I didn't have so many people doing the alt tab out of the game and not giving me credit for the kills that they do. But that's that. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this base was a good time. We're going to go back one more screen. We're putting it in social. So we're putting it in social. Then we're going to go exit. And we're just going to look at the last stats to finish off the video. Look at the stats again. Make sure that we are in social. Okay, go to build. All right. So here are my masters series as I scroll down. And there it is. In social, King of the Hill, 12.6 kill ratio, 1,501 kills. Good time, good time. Now it's time for me to make another one, right? All right, well, thank you for joining me, and this has been the Tarkus Zone.